Well, thanks everybody for joining us for the Creator Workflows and Platform Academy today. This is actually our 16th session, which is really hard to believe. But today we're going to be covering what's new with the San Diego release for Next Experience. And joining us, we're going to have Amanda Joslin, who is the Director of Outbound PM here at ServiceNow. And as always, we have our wonderful host, Lisa Hollenstein. If you'd like to do your own introduction.
Hi there, my name is Lisa. I'm living in Germany. I've been with ServiceNow for about 3 years now. I'm an outbound product manager for Creator Workflows, and I really like all of the awesome platform stuff too. And I'm super excited for Amanda to be here and talk about the Next Experience today.
And I'm Kieran McMorrow. I'm an outbound product manager here with the Creator Workflows team. And I've been with ServiceNow for a little bit over half a year now. So really looking forward to hearing about what's new with the Next Experience and what's coming with the San Diego release. And with that, I'll kick it over to you, Amanda. Can't wait to hear.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me join the Academy today. I, as previously mentioned, am Amanda Joslin. I have been with ServiceNow for about 2.5 years. I joined just before the pandemic sent us all home. So I'm really excited to be here to talk to you about the exciting things we just recently went live with in San Diego. And I definitely want this to be interactive. So feel free to ask any questions. We're a pretty small group today. So feel free to jump in, ask any questions, anything that you've heard of or was top of mind for you since you've started learning about this. I think we gave a somewhat higher overview previously, so this will go into a few more of the details around what we're launching in San Diego. And then in a couple weeks, I'll give a plug for one of my product managers on the team. Ashley is going to do some more hands-on with how do you enable some of this in your own instances and start that migration to upgrading towards the Next Experience. And with that, I will get started unless there's any questions off the bat. First and foremost is the lovely safe harbor. I am a product manager. This will contain some probably forward-looking statements. We cannot guarantee we'll achieve these plans, best of intentions, but we are product managers and some things may slip. So make all buying decisions on current GA. So, as you've heard me talk about before, and as you probably are well aware, we have been and are still currently on a multi-year journey to re-platform our user experience. Where what we say we're kind of at a tipping point of that journey with San Diego. So this actually started well back in our New York release, where we introduced that point of the platform or that single area of our platform for our fulfillers or the people who spend their day solving problems in the platform to do their job with Agent Workspace. It was a re-platformed part of the user experience on that Seismic platform. And we launched that as a way for agents to not have to traverse all throughout the platform to be able to do their job through lists and forms, but really be able to see the tickets they need to be able to interact with that in a single area. Our console. And the feedback we got from that product at the time, well, back in New York was, this is good, but you've taken away the flexibility of the platform or the ability to configure this. And so with that, we launched in Orlando our first generation of UI Builder, which enabled customers and partners to be able to put components on the landing page. And the feedback we got from customers at that point was, that's good, but not enough. We need full flexibility if we're going to adopt this platform. So we went on a journey to really enable configurability of the workspaces and that area of the platform where fulfillers were going to do their job. So from there, we started really deep diving on what would that look like. And in Quebec, we launched our configurable workspace, which was that next evolution from Agent Workspace, along with our new UI Builder, which enabled you to then configure any page of the workspace application. And the first two business units that took advantage of this were CSM, Agent Workspace, as well as custom workspaces output through App Engine Studio. From there, we were scaling, so other offerings, we're starting to build out their configurable workspaces. And then throughout that time, we're really trying to react as well to the feedback that we've constantly been getting of, while we love ServiceNow, that platform is just really looking. So in San Diego, we have that tipping point where all of our major business units have launched their configurable workspace. So all the major workspaces, but we also have that look and feel, that third pillar, which is the modern experience that we're launching in San Diego. But we're not stopping here. We're going to really focus on usability, and we're still going to continue on this journey. So you'll see more of that in our next releases. Next slide. So as I mentioned, there's three major pillars, and right after this, Lisa, we'll go to the poll.
Awesome.
There's three major pillars that were launched in San Diego. The first, as I mentioned, has actually been around since New York, which is that UI framework, which enables theming, app configuration and development, and UI builder. Our modern visual design, which improves the look, the feel, and the usability, all within our Now platform. That, of course, the modern visual design launched in San Diego. And then, of course, the third piece also launching in San Diego, which is the unification of the UI, all within that single app shell, which really is helping us, as we say, that tipping point to migration for being able to migrate. So keeping everything in one app shell. So you're no longer migrating out when you to new tabs if you are using Workspace or BTB or any of these other pieces of the platform. That was really disjointing for the experience. So pillars 2 and 3 of the next experience were the major pieces to the San Diego launch. So at this point of the Academy, we definitely want to know, first of all, who has or has thought about migrating to San Diego. And if you have already started migrating, I'd love to know in the chat who you are. You may hear from me. If you have not thought about migrating or haven't even put it in sub-prod, that's fine. But if you plan to, I'd love to hear from you in chat as well. And if you're fully not even going to do it, you're planning on doing a skip of San Diego, that's fine too. We'd love to hear that. But just before we get too far, I'd love to know your plans for San Diego.
You're right, Maria. We should have added that option.
Yes, that's a good one. Yes, yeah. And if you work for if you work for a partner as well, depends on the company we work for. Have you already, as a partner, do you already have it in your pre-prods as well?
Looks like Eric says that he works for a partner, and some of the companies they work for are going to skip it as part of their regular once-a-year cadence.
Yep, we've been hearing that quite a bit.
But I have heard in the community, there's a ton of people that are installing it into their non-prods and starting to really kind of dig in and see that new experience and kind of that unification of those experiences inside that singular app shell. And I've personally heard a lot of really good feedback on it.
Great.
I mean, there's also the thing, if you are skipping, it's a chance to gain 6 months of experience on a subprod or on a PDI to get familiar with it before you actually migrate.
Right. Yep,
exactly.
You'll see it in Tokyo as well.
I've also seen a couple of people create really awesome themes already and recreating known old themes like Blimey and the Flamingo one. So those
the Blimey one turned out great.
Quite interesting, but they look a lot better in our new workspaces though than they used to.
Should we close out the poll, Lisa, and see where we landed?
Let me share.
Love to see the results. Know what we plan to. Okay, good. So the majority plan to. That's good. About few. So 2 already have. So that's very good. I'd love to. If you're Dave. Dave, if you don't mind me reaching out to you, if you put your email in or just PM me, private message me your email, I'd love to reach out to you. Or either the 2 that have already upgraded or are upgrading to San Diego, I'd love to reach out to you after this as well, hear your experience with it. So thank you for that. I'm glad to hear that you're having experience. And even if you're skipping, if you go to Tokyo, this will be good information for you as well, because you will see in Tokyo as well. So some of the pieces of the UI experience, obviously the new experience, the next experience UI. So enhanced user experience interface. It's available to all users. It is a system property. So that's something, as I mentioned, Ashley in a couple of weeks will come on and show you how to set up. But it is not required. So when you go to San Diego, you can either turn this on or not. Once you turn it on, though, then you'll see the new look and feel. It is predominantly this app shell, which will give you this new UI for not only Workspaces, but also for lists and forms gets a new treatment as well. So you drive productivity with target purpose-built tools and information, but it also brings everything together into this one shell as well. As I mentioned, this now unified navigation, really the response to a lot of our customer feedback that even if minimized, this left-hand nav took up screen real estate and it prohibited them from using the entire screen, even on smaller monitors, to do their job across the entire monitor. So it's now a translucent menu-like overlay. It can be pinned to the left hand. And for those of you who are, used to don't move my cheese, an admin can by default keep it pinned, and then the user can unpin it by default for groups that are maybe very used to having it pinned and like that methodology. You can keep it there, but it's now no longer needing to be pinned to the left-hand side. You'll also see that favorites and history is still the top level, but also now workspaces are the top level now. Our key workspace, which we'll talk about in a second, service operations workspace, which is the ITSM configurable workspace, will not show automatically, even if you're licensed, obviously for ITSM. You have to download that and install it from the store app. So that's a key note. I've talked to a couple customers already who are like, I turned on Next Experience, I upgraded to San Diego, but I do not see the ITSM workspace. It's not in Workspaces. That's correct. It is a store app, which is a bit different for us. So make sure you get that from the store. You'll also see the pill in the middle where right here it says ITIL dashboard. This is slightly older version because I do like the animation of this slide, but it in most cases, and I'm sure Ashley will show you live, but in most cases there is a star next to that, or now in later releases, there's a star next to that. And that will follow you, that pill, no matter where you are in the platform. And that star will enable you to favorite wherever you are in the platform. And that's really great because we know a lot of our users rely on favorites to traverse our complex platform. And so now you can favorite everything. You can favorite a catalog item, you can favorite a task, you can favorite wherever you are in the platform simply by clicking that star and not having to know how to do anything else more complex than that. I'm just going to quickly look at the store. Moving ITSM workspace to a store app and renaming it is definitely something that the messaging could be better. Yes, I will pass along to ITSM, but yes, it has been a little bit of a journey. That is also a combination of the ITSM and ITBM workspaces, and they will have, I think, a much broader launch. They've been trying to keep it for a big knowledge launch. So they're kind of making it a smaller, quieter launch with GA, but something that'll make a bigger splash around knowledge. So that is, I think there's method to that madness, but yes, you're right. That could be a little bit better on the messaging side. Also in the end user preferences. So there are settings like compact mode, and compact mode only for the single user. It won't affect anyone else other than that single user, but it's really great for lists. So when you're in a list, if you use compact mode, it'll increase the data density on that screen. And again, really great for those list screens. Color choices like light and dark mode, which is really great as an accessibility feature. However, not across the platform. It is only for Next Experience screens. So you will not see dark mode for UI 16. Dark mode is only going to be for those Next Experience screens. And then notification and application preferences are all available from this panel as well. Our landing page, which I referenced quickly in the beginning and showed, this provides all the information that a user needs to start working. So there is this new landing page that we're providing out of the box for new users. However, if you already have a landing page, or if your customer already has a landing page that they have defaulted to or already configured, that will be the landing page that is defaulted to when next experience is turned on. It is not going to be this one that will be overridden with this. I know we have a question. Is it possible for individuals to turn on the next experience for themselves? No, it is a system-wide property that is done globally. So in addition, there's some core UI styling as well. So the new styling applies to dashboards and classic reports to provide that modern dashboard experience. So the stylings applied to core UI forms and lists are the not dark mode. And then of course, the streamlined header is applied to all of it. So you see this enhanced core UI styling, of course, across lists and forms as well. Exciting new feature, which is one that's been really requested a lot throughout many of our releases and finally launching in San Diego, is the time worked field in configurable workspace. So this was not available previously in agent workspace or in configurable workspace, but it does use the same time worked field as was found in the task table. So any table that extends tasks can use this field, and you just add the field to the view being utilized in your workspace. So really, really exciting feature, and one that has been a huge request from a lot of different customers. So time worked field now available in San Diego. Oh, sorry, David, does landing page allow home pages or does it need to be a dashboard? So the landing page, do you mean on configurable workspaces? You can come off mute, David.
As far as, I don't know if it was landing pages or just the workspaces, but we still have some people that use home pages. And I guess I'm curious if anybody really does use those anymore, or should we really migrate to dashboards?
Yeah, so home pages are going to be deprecated. So you should absolutely migrate to dashboards.
All right, thank you.
There's a new app in the store, I believe, about how to, that will help you do that. Help you migrate off of home page, help you migrate off of home pages to dashboards.
Awesome.
So as I mentioned before, our flagship configurable workspace, and the one that we've really been waiting for as the tipping point for migration to the next experience, is the ITSM workspace. So they have renamed it as it's a blend of a number of different workspaces, but they are renaming it to Service Operations Workspace. And it's really the single place to manage interactions, incidents, requests, and walk-up appointments. It is available as of this week with the GA of San Diego. And then you can, as I mentioned, it is available in the store. And I can follow up with the link to this in the store, as well as we can provide the link to the store for that the instance homepage, the store app for the homepage dashboard as well. So, and we'll provide the link to this as well. So, and you also have the option for this workspace to integrate it with Microsoft Teams. So agents can then collaborate on instance with the requester and peers right from their task. So it's a great alternative. If you were previously using Connect, you can now integrate with Microsoft Teams, and that will work seamlessly all within the configurable workspace and next experience. In addition, as I mentioned before, the key way for you to configure and to personalize these experiences of the out-of-the-box configurable workspaces is through UI Builder. And within UI Builder, we have some exciting new enhancements with our San Diego release. So first and foremost, we have 2 new layout systems, CSS Flexbox and Grid. So you're no longer tied to our standard layouts that we had before. You now have the ability to simplify your page customization with new pages and variants. We also have some component styling enhancements. So you now can configure your component level CSS using declarative options.
I love that so much.
Variables. Yeah, it's a really good enhancement as well.
It is so pretty. It is such an improvement. It's amazing.
Yes, it's a much more visual way versus having to pick through all your CSS in the UIB.
It's not just having the list there. It gives you all of the colors from the theme, but you can also use the color palette and pick it. So I love that experience. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's much more visual than having to really look through the CSS to pick your variable themes. And in addition, probably the biggest one, instead of needing to understand and edit lines and lines in JSON, is we've made it much more user-friendly to configure your JSON properties. So this is a big one for us to make this more usable. And obviously safe harbor, but throughout between now and into Tokyo, our big push with UI Builder is to remove a lot of the complexity of having to really code a lot of the parameters on the page to have to link together the components and the page variables. So we're going to do more and more of this to provide recipes or templates so that a lot of the standard things can be pre-wired and those components can just be added to the page. This is one of our first components we were able to do that with.
Nice. I love that you're going to be able to generate that UI for the component schema rather than having to just have this straight JSON. I think that's definitely going to be a huge addition for a lot of folks.
Yeah, that's a really exciting one. Has anyone started digging in with UI Builder and configuring configurable workspace or customizing or personalizing that?
While we're looking for answers, just to make sure this is the right info for Susan Williams. So Service Operations Workspace for ITSM is the replacement for the previous agent workspace.
Correct.
And then
Correct.
for CSM, they have their own CSM configurable workspaces. I think there's one for field service management. Yep, another one correct. For order management, and yeah.
Correct. Yeah, so you'll slowly see between now and, Paige Duffy a little bit. I think that's quite the understatement from you, Paige. Absolutely, you have more than a little bit. So yes, you will slowly see, yes, HR is, I was just gonna say, HR, that there is a new configurable workspace from them. They launched through the store. I believe if they didn't go GA this week, they will in I believe it is this week though. HR configurable workspace. It's called HR configurable workspace, and it is in the store as well. So that is what I was saying before. The tipping point for us, for really our recommendation for migrating to the next experience, was for all of our major product lines to have a configurable workspace. Eventually, configurable workspace will replace agent workspace. That will be deprecated once everyone has a configurable workspace. So those are the replacements there. Also launching in San Diego is a repeater component. So repeat a component with multiple components with results from a data resource. So the previous functionality was to bind multiple components to a data resource. So a lot of UI Builder is around data binding and knowing how to fetch the data, how to bind the data to the component, how to make it operate or react to the event that you need to for that component. So this repeater component is really a good way to be able to have multiple components to be able to do that same operation. So this is a really good step forward again in usability for UI Builder. And then our component formula editor, so located in the configuration panel of the component. And it's again provides the ability to use a wide array of function and logical operations to configure the component. So you don't have to know as much of the data bindings and the functions. You can look them up here instead of having to know them off the top of your head. So where do you go for help? So if you have not been out to our Center of Excellence, I am going to pop that up quickly, and I actually don't know how we're doing on time, but I think we're doing fairly good. So I would like to just show you where do you go for help. And as of San Diego, this was a community site that we've had out since last summer. We launched it right after, right ahead of Rome, between Quebec and Rome. We launched just kind of a UI Builder and Workspace knowledge area, but we've now done a complete overhaul. If you know Ashley Snyder is a recent product manager that I hired. She was a previous developer advocate and a really great ServiceNow developer community member. And she had a blog that now she runs our Center of Excellence. So her blog is now turned into enablement content for us internally at ServiceNow. So she's the brains behind this, and she's done a really great job at overhauling it to thinking through the content areas of, hey, I just need to know about this one topic. You can find information of that, to, nope, I really need to know everything to get started on this area of the platform. Then we have that whole thing as well. So I'll just pop out for that for 1 second so I can show you that.
And I know for one, I have been using the COE quite a bit even this week. So it's a great resource externally and internally.
So first and foremost, when you come to the Center of Excellence, again, it's off the community, please bookmark it. But you can start by saying, where do you want to start? Do you need to know about the Next Experience UI? Do you need to know about the Web Experience Platform UI Builder components? If you just need to know about everything, we have the San Diego Family Release highlights. We do have the Next Experience UI Framework topic posts. But if you start with Next Experience UI Framework, you can see the resource hub here, but also we have the quick start, we have the introduction. Really what we've learned a lot of people are starting with, which is how to theme. So if you go into an instance, and I can actually do that, we did not provide you the same number of themes as we did in UI 16. So when you go in, and I'm impersonating an agent right now, but when you go in and click on preferences and click on theme, I have a bunch of themes here. And we know that you guys probably use a lot of themes to delineate instances, subprods, all your different ways you use themes to delineate things. Out of the box, I think previously we used to give you 8. We don't anymore with the Next Experience. I think there is only 1. So going in and theming is probably one of the first things you're going to want to do. So that first article around theming the Next Experience with some tips and tricks around that is a really great article to start with. Ashley and I started with building a demo in February, I think it was, for an executive here at ServiceNow. And so we learned a lot about theming and a lot of some of the do's and don'ts and tips and tricks, which helped inform this whole article. So there's some really good things that we help kind of short circuit some of the things that can catch you on that. So just really quick, this is an instance with this, with Next Experience on, you can see dark mode as well, but you can also change the theme colors as well. So you can have all these themes that you can load in and it will change the colors as you go through the theming. So that's the Next Experience UI. There are also frequently asked questions, which in the FAQs, we have a lot of the, for each of the product lines of what are we hearing. If there's something that's maybe not documented well, we are adding them to FAQ. And then we're adding links to where you could find more about it here. And especially, I cannot see connect chat or guided tours. And what do I do to do that? And there's obviously some steps around that as well. So I just want to make sure we all saw this as a great way. There's also in UI Builder, there's UI Builder Quick Start Guide, Fundamentals, there's some courses here. But for UI Builder, we also have a lot of topic-based, some topic-based information. And then as well for UI Builder, we have FAQs. So a lot of what Ashley has learned or has brought together is in the FAQs as well. But we have a lot of topics on UI Builder as well. So that is all of what I wanted to show today. I know we're running short on time. I do want to leave time. I'll stop sharing for any of your questions or.
You have plenty time.
Oh,
we
I'm
have
good on time?
25 minutes left.
Oh, perfect. Look at me. I can also show anything live. I have my instance open. So anything anyone wants to see live, we can do that as well. In fact, I can pop that back up.
Let us check in on some of the questions maybe.
Yeah,
so
let's do that.
One question was by Liang Sun saying, is the time recorded and the time work aggregated until the task case is closed? What if reopened if the task and case time will continue to be aggregated? So Daniel already posted an answer there, but the more important part here is that this is the same field as the original platform field. So it's just now surfaced in configurable workspaces, and I personally expect it to work just as it did before.
Yes. Same answer I would.
We have Dave actually asking if we can show the CMDB workspace currently.
Sure. Yep, I have that in here. I'll just go through a quick overview of, this is my demo instance. So I'll safe harbor applies, that who knows what's in here. And this is a live demo. So again, who knows what will happen. But this is, I'll just go through a quick kind of overview of this and then how we would talk through this. And then please feel free to stop me and ask any questions. So this is a demo instance. This agent just logged in to start their day. This is their landing page. Again, this landing page, if you have a dashboard that you have set for this agent, they would see that even if next experience is turned on. This would be for brand new customers who have not set a default dashboard yet, or for ones who have selected this. They can also see what's new. So guided tours does not work in next experience, but we do have a quick way to see what is new in the next experience. They can close this out. If they do, they won't see it again, or they could just quickly breeze through what's new to learn it, and then that will stay at the top. They can also close this banner, and if they do, they won't see it anymore. The admin can refresh it at any time if they want to. So they see here where they can start their day with tasks in case. They see critical tasks, new tasks, open tasks, and then any of their favorites are down here as well. Their menu, all favorites and history, is here to, again, can be pinned or unpinned, and depending as how they like it. And again, just to show you things that used to open in a new tab like VTB. Again, this is a demo instance, so it's just going to have demo data. Will continue to open in that same, oh yeah, okay. I'm like, wait, where are my VTB? It'll stay, so it no longer opens in a separate browser tab. So it's keeping them in the same tab. So there's two BTB boards here. You can see this is still keeping him in the same app. He can easily favorite this from here. So this has been following, this pill right here has been following him throughout the platform. He can easily favorite any of this from here as well. If he goes into a workspace, you can see CSM config. Oh, sorry, was it CSM? Now I've forgotten which workspace.
CMDB.
Oh, CMDB workspace. Yes, I have CMDB workspace.
And before we hop into that real quick, Eric was asking, is there any plan to include items viewed in the workspace on the history menu?
Items viewed on the workspace.
Yeah.
So if you navigate through your workspace and look at different cases and work your way through different cases, those don't show up in the history tab.
No, you're right. That's a good question. I will find out. I will take that. I have not heard that before. Well, I don't know, because look, case is on here. Let's see.
Well, if we do get an answer, we will make sure to include it on the session page. So
yes. And Eric also posted the idea on the community idea portal, so we can follow up on that.
Let's see, I'm clicking into a case right now. Work orders and a task. I don't have any of those. Maybe an SLA. Record. No.
They don't.
They don't. Well, I will find out for you. Kieran, if you could take that and send it to me, I'll follow up on that.
Yeah, sounds great.
One question that kind of fits the overall space here is does the Now experience or Next experience support announcements like we have on a service portal?
What does that mean by support? Will it show them?
So there's the announcements feature that typically I think folks are using in Service Portal, where we have the bar at the top of Service Portals that bring in those announcements. So I think she's looking about the replication of that.
There is a way to have a banner at the top of this workspace or some type of like you could customize this header here and have it come up, like have a notification come up here. So hey John, CMDB workspace, you can have a notification up here instead. But I'm not as familiar with announcements in Portal to know exactly what all that entails. But you can configure this to have a notification pop up based on different parameters. I don't believe you could bring in the actual announcements feature from the Angular widget, but I don't know where that pulls from. But it is configurable. So if it's a data table or it's pulling from somewhere, you could probably build a component to do that. And just quickly, while I have that, good segue. How do I configure this? It's going to open in a new tab because all of our builders do. But if you want to configure this and look at what do we have, if you have not yet seen it, here is our UI builder. And if we open up CMDB workspace in UI builder, it will open up all of the pages of UI builder or all of the pages of CMDB workspace in UI builder. And then you can either create a new page off of it, or you can go through any of the pages that are a part of the CMDB workspace, and you can look at all the components on here. You can also go into any of the components that are available for all 100, but any of the ones that are available in the component library that we have, and you can then, these are the ones that are available to configure then onto this page. So if you wanted to add an image, you can do that and just add your image wherever it's stored onto that page. If you wanted to add KPI details or let's say a form or a calendar, you can do that directly onto this page, and then you're configuring that component. I don't know where did I put here's my calendar. So I just dragged it below it. So now I have a calendar and an image on this page. So that's not that easy, because then you do have to configure it for the events and the data, connect all of that together for what you want happens when these calendar events are clicked, or the events that happen here. But that's what you're doing. You're configuring the page using these side components. I don't see an announcement component. I was just looking really quick to see. There's attachments, but not announcements.
There's the alerts. Would that have any functionality related to that, or is that?
Well, so to learn about any of these as well, you could go out to the component library on the developer site, and that will tell you more about what does this component do. You can also look at like the events you can have and all of the ins and outs of that component, and that will help you learn more about what it could do.
Regarding customizations and configurations, Brian had a question. If you customize an out of the box workspace in UI Builder, are there potential upgrade implications at all?
Depends on what you do, but there could be, yes. So once you personalize a page, you pretty much own that page now with the custom components you have. If you're using our components and just extending them, you're still quote unquote in the box. But yes, you own that page from the customization perspective, as you have to make sure it's upgrade safe, and throughout upgrades, you're going to make sure that your upgrades are compatible with our next upgrade. So yes, you do technically own that page.
Yeah, would it make sense to possibly use make use of the variant feature to create a copy of the existing page in the new variant, and then just surface the new variant, and then when you upgrade, you can check out what the original page looks like, and maybe create a new variant from there, or adjust your variant to what you want to.
To be able to edit or to extend or to configure. So obviously these are read-only pages. We're not going to, hold on one second. Here we go. You can edit when you're editing these pages, you can add and configure components here, but you're not going to be able to overwrite the whole page. So when you're creating a variant, it will tell you, you name your variant. So, and then you can set up a page template. So what type of page do you want? If you're going to do a record page, let's say. So it says use the original template, but your customization will be limited. So if you use our template, we're going to limit your customization of the page. However, this ensures your page stays upgradable, but you won't be able to have full flexibility because you're basically using our boxes and you're staying kind of true to what we have. However, if you just want to fully copy it and then be able to have full flexibility over it, then you own that page. And so then that's your page. It's a copy now. You own that copy, but then you're no longer quote unquote in the box. So you make that choice here when you take over the variant of the page. Does that answer your question?
It's also this was now the create a new variant, but I think you can also just copy an existing variant, so you can take over what has already been done. So if you find a page, for example, in the CMD workspace, CMDB workspace that doesn't have a page template for the page you want to edit, you just copy the variant.
Correct. You can do that as well.
Yeah, I think it's in the variant part. If you click on the three dots. Not on the page level, but on the web variant level below.
Oh,
there. You can duplicate.
Duplicate.
Yes. That was the button.
So yes, you can also duplicate your variant.
Just to follow up to the idea earlier, the question with the announcements. So apparently Eric came across that too, and there's also an idea on the idea portal for supporting announcements in the next UI. So we can follow up from both of those idea records then.
Great. So it's already answered? There was already an answer to it? Or
yeah, I think the question was being posted to the Q&A panel, and Eric posted that it's been resolved. Announcements are supported, but lack feature parity with the portal announcements. So you cannot have them show up the same way. And there's an idea that people can upvote, and then we can follow.
Great. Okay, we'll follow up. So great. So I know I've gone through a lot. I think somebody wanted to see CMDB workspace, and I'm happy to. Was there something else you wanted? I don't think I went through it very in much depth. I'm no longer an agent, but we can at least go through it. Was there something else you wanted to see in CMDB workspace?
That was it. David, let me give you speaker permissions again. If you want to ask for something.
Hi, thanks for sharing. No, it's really just starting CMDB. We're not using any workspaces yet. But if this provides, better detail and we can customize it a little bit, it might be nice to use. So is this used by all ITSM, fulfillers, or is it used just by the CMDB manager?
So I am not the best to ask for that. We may have to get another session with the CMDB product manager. As I'm from the platform site. So I'm not quite sure the personas who would use this versus service operations workspace. We may have to get those product managers to better address those persona questions.
Sure, thank you.
I think there may also be, I'm not quite sure, there may be an ITOM Academy or office hours kind of sessions. So I guess those would be the better people to ask these questions. So I'll look it up if there's a similar format as we have, and then post that link as well.
It'd be good. Yeah, if there's a ITOM or ITBM or ITSM, those would be good ones.
Well, I, for one, learn something new every time we have you on, Amanda.
Oh,
So I
good.
really appreciate it. It's awesome to see everything from your perspective and all the different pieces that you can bring to us.
Great. I appreciate coming every single time, and come back in 2 weeks. Product manager from my team, Ashley, will be here, and we'll kind of walk through some of the system properties and how to show this. So bring her those questions as well.
We throw in the feedback poll. So just to be sure to collect those answers before we sign off. And there's nothing further. I think we can start to wrap up, Kieran.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining us for our Creator Workflows and Platform Academy. And as Lisa did mention, we do have a session coming up in 2 weeks, and that's going to be activating the next UI experience, next experience UI. So thank you all again for joining us, and we look forward to having you next time. So thank you very much for joining us, Amanda. We really appreciate all the content. So cheers, everybody.